25 days until we're 40. Today has been another great day out in Denver. Caught up on a lot of the Bitcoin developments. The next today, tomorrow, and then the day after as well will be very Bitcoin heavy. Lots of Bitcoin L2s and technologies and solutions being developed these days. Hackathons as well, which I think the space has been sorely lacking for a while. It's uh it's very interesting actually getting a pulse on the space. There's quickly listing, I'd say there's obviously layer twos, meta protocols, um, insurance, stablecoin, dexes, art and ordinals, gaming. I don't know, I'm just going through the list of everything DeFi related is in fact coming to Bitcoin. And everyone's really pushing forward in different areas. But I think what many of us as builders find is that, well, it's pretty obvious, but Bitcoin scripting is very limited. You can't do that much with it. You can actually do a lot of things in a on a peer-to-peer basis, like just two people interacting with each other on Bitcoin with the existing script and capabilities. But it's very hard to scale that up. In order to scale that up, you definitely need at the very least, a meta protocol or a layer on top to accelerate, speed up, gather, pool, share signatures, um, just just operate in an organized way. Um, and it's interesting because each component or provider or element or app on the being built, it in many ways they're all interdependent, right? There's something and there's something to be said about like investing back, like raising funds and then investing back in the ecosystem so that um not just yourself grows, but everybody else around you grows. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. Got the opportunity to speak to Ducat today. Um, they're like a MakerDAO on Bitcoin. They're trying to do a stable coin, Bitcoin native stable coin, with runes and ordinals technology, which I think is really cool. I think it's really awesome. Now they're the I asked them, like, why not just bridge liquidity over from other stable coins into Bitcoin? You don't have to like reinvent the wheel and create a whole stable coin, right? But what I learned is that you kind of do, because you need to create that incentive or the market where the stable coin on Bitcoin would actually be used. There's no actual like Bitcoin native lending or purchasing or transactions really happening outside of like the ordinal trading. And ordinal trading, in some ways, the art pieces are the NFTs or the fiat equivalents to Bitcoin. Um, and really, it's a challenge that many other like networks are sorry apps are facing. Lava lending, for example, on Bitcoin has liquidity challenges still, and I'm sure they will punch through it and solve it and figure it out. But just coming from like a fintech background and like our experience in doing car finance, there's like layers to the financial or capital stack, right? Like from when you're a small business to a fund to start listing on small exchanges all the way up to like an IPO. Um, and each of these layers basically like they have a different level of players that participate. If you have a really large participant or a wealthy person participating in a smaller market, they are going to wipe out the market. Like they're just going to buy up everything or make everything too expensive, and it just does not. They don't like wealthy people or institutions actually don't make money in small markets, like niche markets, and that's why niche markets exist. And as an individual or like as a smaller entity, you can make a lot of money, but as a large entity, you can't. All this to say that for anything in fintech, to work, you need at least $25 million like to really scale that up, to really put it all together, put it into a fund, go to the US mid markets, sell those funds, repeat, and do the process over again, over and over again. And a time when money was easy, like that was that is what a lot of fintechs had done. And today, more than ever, the Bitcoin ecosystem needs that. The Bitcoin ecosystem needs an influx of a large amount of capital, at least $25 million, in order to really activate, connect to the outer, to the rest of the, well, to the US mid market, at least to start, in order to really provide the liquidity, and tap into the demand that is pent up and available in that space. So I've been a little wary of making this declaration, um, but I've come to res to I've come to the I've come to acknowledge that when you're talking to everybody in the space and they're, they're saying something, you're listening to it and you're hearing it, and there's a clear need for this. It doesn't really matter what the market situation is, what the tariffs are, who's in government. Like, people just need a solution. Um, and you have at least the insight to get it started. Like, you may not be the one to achieve it fully. You may not even happen in the time that you wanted to, and it may actually be due to, the effort of many other people that this would be achieved. But just, it should not take away from just setting a really big, hairy, audacious goal, because that when you have a big problem, you need a big solution, and you got to declare it. Other people have to declare it, and somebody's got to start declaring it. So what I'll say is that we need to do, or at least from, uh, as we're involved in the Bitcoin finance space, we need to raise something like $1 million pre-seed that will drive us towards an August token generation event to raise $25 million. And from that $25 million, at least 20 million would need to be placed within like a BVI entity or fund that would generate, like, with a target return of 20% plus APY, encourage retail participation to grow further, partner with other lending solutions, especially those that really push forward non-custody or self-custody, and start originating deals and loans or just cash flows for people holding Bitcoin. Once you get that set up, and what yeah, once you get that set up, you can sell that fund to the US mid market, recycle the capital, and really start generating more than $1 million in annual recurring revenue. And you'll need to do more than that. Like, you'll need, there will be many more pieces and parts to this whole thing. Like, there will need to be improvements in L1 technology, maybe the approvals of like opcodes and upgrades to the Bitcoin protocol. You need to integrate on ramps, bridges, pools, other, and this is like, for this to really be achieved and for for a breakthrough to really happen, people really need to come together, and it needs to be at the size of $25 million, and that's what we're going to go after. This declaration will improve over time. It will be simpler over time. I'll be sharing more and more over time. We're not raising right now, but this is the area or the direction that we are working towards. Thank you for listening.